Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, I know if your name is Tony Buzbee, you are feeling good, eating some leftover turkey with some cookies and eggnog. The judge in the Jay-Z Diddy case, Judge Torres, has just humiliated Jay-Z in court. Humiliated Jay-Z in court. And get this, he actually had bars. He had bars for Jay-Z's attorney. Y'all, let's get into this because, again, baby, we call it like we see it. Last week, listen, there was some missteps. They caught Buzbee slipping. I don't care. They did. That interview was sloppy. It left the client unprotected. But baby, this week, Buzbee ain't have to do anything but just file his motion, follow the rule of law, show us why he is that lawyer. And the judge said, I got it from here. You guys, this is huge. It has long been said that Jay-Z has been running a PR campaign. They want to throw dirt in the face of everything. They want to obstruct. They want to try this in the public court. If you guys listen to my videos or watch my lives, you know that last week there was, well, not even last week, earlier this week, there was something in the air that I was like, yo, I don't think this is going to turn out the way they think it is legally, not court of public opinion. They got that off, but legally, because the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eric Adams case called out Alex Spiro for trying to adjudicate cases in the court of public opinion by making it seem like the feds don't have any evidence. This is a setup and going hard. I said, okay, fine. But Judge Torres, and we got the full legal docs, has utterly destroyed Jay-Z. We were the first to say and cite the case law that this case is moving forward, baby. The question wasn't never was it plausible. The question was if you could discredit that girl not remembering stuff. And if you could say, oh, look, her father wasn't there, then that takes away the key components to the case, and you can maybe go for like a 12B, a dismissal. However, when the case law that we did, Palooza versus the Archdiocese, second port, it is not binding, but it is persuasive because whenever there's a gap in federal law as opposed to state law, they will look to state law for guidance, and maybe they have guidance. Literally gave the cover saying that the details can be a little shady, right? It can be a little fuzzy. You don't got to remember who was in the room when you got to the party. You just have to be 100% sure if you were a child when it happened, or if you were mentally impaired as it happened. Tony Buzbee's Tony Buzbee's client was both. All you need to be 100% sure is that that person raped me. That's all you need to be 100% sure about. The details can be cloudy and the years can be off by up to 4 years. Palooza, Roman Catholic, Archdiocese, it was with the priest. He sued. A lot of same facts. 20 years ago, didn't remember names, didn't remember times, places. It was a little shady, but he was absolutely sure that it was that who actually did the do with them. Anyway, y'all, let's get into these court documents because, listen, Buzbee just got the Christmas gift that he has been wanting. He literally, Alex Spiro took this court fight to the streets, right? And there were a lot of people that were, oh my God, ba 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 ba. I'm not gonna lie, it was looking bad for Jay-Z, but you know that Buzbee has maybe he's redeemed himself. And what's more, this wasn't even him. This was the court saying that Diddy's lawyer is doing too much. Again, for anybody think that money and power can insulate you, it can to a certain point. But one thing about the halls of justice, they are guarded very well. Alex's novel play, which would have changed the game for lawyers representing victims of SA, especially against rich people, it would have changed the game. No longer do you attack the client. You and deal with the facts. You go after the lawyer. You rip the lawyer apart. You pull up their drunk driving thing. You pull up stuff from ex-girlfriends. You literally go to doors with clients being like, yo, did he make you sad? Like, we can get you money. You do what you need to do to make the lawyer's life a living hell. And from that, the next time somebody comes to them and they're like, yo, I know something about Rock Nation. I know something about Jay-Z. I know something about this. I would think any lawyer would stand there and be like, yo, like, even if you do, it's not worth it. I saw what happened to Buzbee. I'm cheating on my wife. I'm cheating on my man. I ain't paying my taxes. Guess what? Forget about the drunk driving. I was running around naked with a chicken hat on my head, screaming ooga googa googa down the street. You don't want people in your business. So you're gonna start to pass on that. Again, remember what they did to Pierce Morgan? What did they do to Pierce Morgan? They had a bunch of people on the show, right? Some people were accused of saying some outlandish things. They said that they saw Jay-Z and Diddy with bodies in suitcases, said Jay-Z and Beyonce were worse than Diddy, said that they were sex traffickers, said all this stuff. Instead of going after that person, which looking back, I think they're going after that person now. So it was a bit of a miscalculation because I was like, why wouldn't you just go after the person? But I think they thought that person was so lowly, it wasn't even worth their time. Little did they know that it was going to go, that they've been going viral on TikTok, right? But the whole point of the matter is, instead of going after the people that said things, they said, you know what? Because we're top level, we're going to go after the media outlets and go after them. And once we go after that media outlet, ain't nobody going to have shit to say because everybody's going to be afraid of suing. Let's not forget that Alex Spiro represents Elon Musk, who even Trump has joked about as the co-president, right? So he definitely has power. He has money. He has this. Anyway, they went after Pierce Morgan, and Pierce Morgan got down the hill and said, you know what? I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have done this. I should have betted, blah, 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 blah. And to be fair, it is true. He should have betted. He should have checked it out. He's legacy media. Like, he knows how it goes. However, it was a novel approach. And for media in the court of public opinion, and also with damages, right? Because it's all speculation. You didn't bet. That might have worked. But when you get into a court of law, he tried to do the same thing. You know what we're going to do? And this is my opinion. I think he was like, yo, you know what we're going to do? Let's just hit the lawyer and we'll go after Buzbee first because Buzbee is the peacock. He's out there first. He's the one that's like, they tried to go after Tyrone Blackburn and get him sanctioned. That ended with nothing. It was loud saying, oh my God, we getting him sanctioned. This lawsuit's not going anywhere. Tyrone Blackburn did not get sanctioned, and Little Rod's lawsuit is lookity-doo. They didn't go after Douglas Wigdor. They tried, but like Cassie settled out, right? They haven't been, but they have been arguing, but it hasn't stuck. Buzbee came out and said, oh, well, baby, I got a lot of these. He wanted to settle. Jay-Z didn't want to settle, and they decided to do scorched earth, and they decided to make an example out of Tony Buzbee. Again, Tony Buzbee, someone that's won billions, somebody that's represented the governor of Texas, the attorney general of Texas. He's represented foreign nations. He's represented like so many politicians and even nations that they were like, if we can go after him and make an example out of him, what do you think Joe Smo going to do? What do you think somebody that's like a first-year graduate of law school is going to do? What do you think they're going to do? Their hope was that they could say, it ain't nothing. But again, Buzbee said, I don't care. Yeah, I was looking puppy, like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in Ghostbusters in my drunk driving thing. Yeah, I did this. Yeah, I did that. And then Busby's like, well, that part's not true. But he said, and you still not going to scare me. Bring it, bring it, bring it, bring it, bring it. Y'all, again, this happened the day after Christmas. This is very, very bad for Jay-Z and even his lawyer, because this completely circumvents their current plan of attack. It circumvents it. Anyway, y'all, let's get into these documents, because when I say the judge humiliated Jay-Z, again, one thing about them tables, they always go and turn. Again, we got to call spade a spade. Buzbee got caught slipping with that NBC interview. He got caught slipping. We don't lose anything. Go ahead and watch my live. I broke it down. We don't lose anything by admitting that, baby. The truth is our friend. Reality is our friend. Because if you don't know where you're starting off at, if you don't know where your weaknesses are, if you don't know where your enemy's strengths or the adversary's strengths are, you ain't never going to win. Sitting there being like, that ain't never going to work. That's never going to work. We must know both sides and see honestly where they are at. However, I would say Buzbee had a huge win, but the judge handed it to him. The judge said, you're doing too much. but destroyed Jay-Z and his lawyer in court. Listen to this, right? Listen to this. Who said 2025 is the year of lockup? Susan, I know it is. Swagged Out said, love you, Tisa. Appreciate all your videos and streams. Thank you. Also, happy holidays to everybody. I'm thinking, I don't want to promise, but I know we're going to have a celebration at 500K. I appreciate you guys so much. And maybe we'll even do a New Year's Eve celebration, but I don't want to do that because, family going to be in my face mad. Okay, so let's get into this. Let's put it up on the Summer Jam screen so we can read it. Oh, wait, they ripped them apart. All right, let's get into this. This is from Judge Annalisa Torres. All right, federal district judge in the Jane Doe case against Diddy and Jay-Z. This was just delivered. It is breaking news. We're going to do the legal analysis, but let's read the docs, okay? Plaintiff Jane Doe filed this action. Oh, also, they asked, this is in response to them demanding that the plaintiff, if you guys don't know, they asked for the case to be dismissed and they asked for the plaintiff's mask to be ripped off. Why? They don't want her to be anonymous anymore. They cited that if she's anonymous, they can't defend themselves, which is misleading because even if the plaintiff remains anonymous in cases like these, the defendant gets to know who it is. They just can't leak it to the court. So when a plaintiff is anonymous, they can just ask the court, and then, of course, they will find out who the plaintiff is and all the information so they can defend themselves. For them saying, oh, we need to have this information public, because how else are we going to defend ourselves? The only reason that would help you is if you plan on going on a 1-800 call in if you know anything to see if anybody will shake the trees, send investigators out and find anybody that can discredit the victim. Okay. So they wanted her to stop being anonymous, which is rich because just a few days before Jay-Z's name was added to this case, Jay-Z sued Tony Buzbee for extortion. Now, I know I do say that Buzbee poked the bear because I think he was blindsided by this massive attack that came with Jay-Z, but I'm doing a little deep dive in it and I'm now looking at the people surrounding and I see that I think he was taken aback and blindsided, but baby, he has caught his footing and now he's pushing back saying, I'm not afraid of you. Even the way he stopped using Jay-Z in statements and now he's referring straight to Roc Nation because that's where I would imagine he sees this coming from. Don't forget, they're also suing to have a complete dismissal. With this letter, we'll read through it and we'll analyze it. But yeah, Jay-Z, you ain't getting either of them. Let's get into this. Plaintiff Jane Doe filed this action on October 20th, 2024, alleging violation of the New York City Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act, NYC Admin Code 10, Chapter 10, 1101, whatever. By order dated November 6, 2024, the court provisionally granted plaintiff's motion to proceed anonymously, explaining that defendants had yet to appear in this matter and that the balance of the interests weighing for or against anonymity may shift as her suit continues. Again, what does it say? First of all, you asked for her veil to be ripped off. It's rich that you filed an extortion case and you filed it as a John Doe. The whole point of John Does and Jane Does is to protect the weak from the tyranny of evil men. So it's weird that a billionaire filed under John Doe, but whatever, right? They then went to court, and this is what I mean about all these legal things going back and forth. We can try this all day in public opinion. We can talk about how we feel so much, but the law is not about feelings. It's about procedure. As we pointed out, it was so weird that all these things, we want her to say her name. We don't want this. We don't want that. We want an emergency hearing, Your Honor, right now. And the judge was like, calm your ass. First of all, it's Christmas. I got to go eat some cookies. We're not doing an emergency hearing. Stop it. Second of all, how are you asking for her to not be anonymous when you haven't even made an appearance? Making an appearance means you answer like the complaint. You can either say yes, you can say no, or you can say yes, but affirmative defenses. You have to answer the complaint to even get anywhere. So the judge is already like, how can you even, you already asked for something that at that time was impossible to rule on. So, like, what are you playing at? Unless you wanted to make a big show of bravado in the public media. On December 8th, 2024, okay, plaintiff amended her complaint to add Sean Carter, non professionally as Jay Z, as a defendant. Plaintiff again sought leave to proceed anonymously, but this time Jay-Z's counsel appeared and moved to deny her motion, or in the alternative, to dismiss her amended complaint pursuant to federal rules of civil procedure. That's the rule I was talking about the last live, Rule 12B. Okay. Carter also moved for an expedited hearing on the issue. The next day, Jay-Z's attorney filed a letter containing a declaration for an associate at his law firm recounting a phone conversation she had with an unnamed woman who claimed that Tony Buzbee encouraged her to lie about her experience of sexual assault. Jay-Z's lawyer asked the court to consider this additional information in connection to plaintiff's motion to proceed anonymously. Buzbee denied Jay-Z's allegations against him. Again, already she's setting up the case like, what are you talking about? Forget about the social media stuff. This is not like, I don't want to shade anybody's Instagram blogs, but this isn't like, oh, whatever the court of public opinion. How are you, right? Saying you want to proceed anonymously, but you also want to dismiss the motion. And before we even do that, we want an emergency hearing because you wanted not even an emergency, you wanted an expedited hearing. You want to speed up the process, saying, Your Honor, let's just get this out of here because you submitted as a declaration from an associate of Alex Spiro's law firm saying she had a phone conversation. So it wasn't even recorded. She's just remembering. I remember having a phone conversation with an unnamed woman who claimed that Buzbee encouraged her to lie about her experience of sexual assault. And again, she points out what we all said. You want this to consider this as an additional information in connection with plaintiff's motion to proceed. What does the plaintiff's claims have to do with whatever the attorney had going on? That does neither mean that you are guilty or innocent. It means nothing in this case. She goes on to say, on December 13th, 2024, Jay-Z's attorney filed an additional letter alerting the court to a recently published interview of plaintiff on NBC News. In the interview, plaintiff, speaking anonymously, by the way, explained her allegations against Jay-Z and Diddy and her reasons for coming forward. Jay-Z lawyer points to the interview in which the plaintiff admitted to inconsistencies in her story as evidence that the girl's claims had no factual basis whatsoever. He also argues that plaintiff's counsel violated the federal rule of civil procedure 11B. That's calling for sanctions. That's very heavy. This is the way they tried to get Blackburn, but it didn't stick. By failing to undertake a reasonable inquiry into the facts before filing the complaint and failing to seek admission pro hac vici, pro hac vici to this court. If you guys don't know what that is, if you are not licensed in that state, you need to make so if you're from California and you're not licensed in this state, you need to make an appearance in that court. So if you're from California and you want to defend somebody in New York, you need to link up with a New York lawyer, but then you also need to make an appearance in the court and say, "Hi, Your Honor, my name is Tisa. I'm licensed in the state of California. This is my bar license number. I had this." You guys, just a bit technical difficulty. Okay, I'm back. Technical difficulties fixed. Sorry, guys. Anyway, right? They're saying that. So basically, they tried to say that Tony Buzbee, who has won billions and tried cases in every state, that his case should be thrown out because he failed to make an appearance in New York State court to ask for permission to practice because he's not licensed. Now, when I heard that, I said, this actually doesn't make any sense. I can understand about maybe not properly vetting, maybe so, but this all makes sense. This is like lawyer 101. Tony Buzbee actually responded to the court in a civilized letter saying that, Your Honor, I'm licensed to practice in the Eastern District of, I'm sorry, I have Pro Has Vici, whatever, in the Eastern District of New York. And I will do that in the Southern District. But what are you talking about? I can defend people in New York. Again, I don't know if they were just going for the kill because they didn't see it in the Southern District in New York, but he was like, I'm licensed to practice. What are you talking about? On top of that, I think they also underestimated the fact that Judge Torres, according to all the legal eagles in the Southern District of New York, does not play. Okay. They said Jay-Z's attorney then requested an expedited briefing scheduled for a motion to strike the first amended complaint under Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 11C. The next day, Jay-Z's lawyer submitted yet another filing, a motion for an emergency order directing the preservation of evidence and striking the amended complaint under a Rule 12F. Again, if you read Busbee's reply, and I actually think I have it, I'll read that later because it's actually pretty good. He accused them of like spinning around and actually just acting histrionics, like, right? Just creating chaos in the courtroom. Now get this. They're going to talk about the motion to proceed anonymously. In deciding whether a plaintiff may proceed anonymously, court balances the plaintiff's interest of being anonymous against both the public interest in disclosure and any prejudice to the defendant. We talked about that in a previous slide, right? The Second Circuit has laid out a non-exhaustive list of factors. So basically, the court always wants to protect the person with the least amount of power, right? But you have to balance that with, okay, but what's good for the defendant? It needs to be balanced out, but justice, especially for the downtrodden, will always prevail. They said these are the factors we looked at. This is not exhausted. So there can be other factors, but this is generally what people plug in to see. Whether litigation involves matters that are highly sensitive and of a personal nature. Here, when you look at to see whether something can happen legally, there's prongs, right? Listed out right now. There's 8 prongs. Is it 8 or is it? There's 10 prongs. The more prongs you have, the more likely it is that you will get your way. So for the first prong, whether the litigation involves matters that are highly sensitive and of a personal nature. They have that. I don't know what's more sensitive than what this woman is alleging. Whether identification poses a risk of retaliatory physical and mental harm to the parties seeking to proceed anonymously, or even more critically, to innocent non-parties. Here, I believe they meet that prong. Why is there? Because 1, identification poses a risk of retaliatory mental harm. 1, this woman suffers from autism. I do not know if she is high functioning or not, but judging from the way she sounded, I don't know. Second of all, if we see the media blitz full on kitchen sink like Thanos they threw at Tony Buzbee, imagine what will happen to this woman in the actual media. All right. And she is mentally impaired. So there's that to consider. Whether identification presents other harms and the likely severity of those harms, including whether the injury litigated against would be incurred as a result of disclosure of the identity. Here, no, because it's grape and, she's not going to get grape, I would hope, right? Whether a plaintiff is particularly vulnerable to the possible harms of disclosure, particularly in light of her age. Yes. If you guys don't remember Palooza versus Archdiocese, go watch my old live. I cited that case law as a way that Tony Buzbee could use to move forward. And as much as people had naysayers, in his response, he cited Palooza versus the Archdiocese. What does that say? Really quick, let me just take you through it. If you are a minor and SA happens, you do not have that. You can have a fuzzy memory, and there can be about a 4-year window that courts will not hold it against you. And they'll say it's because of the trauma. It is not binding, it is persuasive. We talked about that. However, the New York courts, especially the second appellate, have held that um, in cases where somebody has mental or cognitive impairments, they can also use Palooza, and they will be treated as if you are a minor, which means you get special protections, which means the plaintiff is particularly vulnerable under Palooza to the possible harms of disclosure, particularly not in light of her age, but in light of her mental capacity. Whether the suit is challenging the actions of the government or that of private parties. Oddly enough, it is challenging the actions of private parties. Whether the defendant is prejudiced by allowing the plaintiff to press her claims anonymously, whether the nature of that prejudice, if any, differs at any particular stage of the litigation, and whether any prejudice can be mitigated by the district court. There is what they're arguing about. That is the meat and the potatoes, and this is what the judge is going to respond to and rip apart. You already know how I feel. Jay-Z's a billionaire. He has access to one of the best lawyers, PR firms, also crisis management. You're going to be all right. Let's hear what this once little girl has to say. Whether the plaintiff's identity has thus far been kept confidential, here it has. Whether the public's interest in the litigation is furthered by requiring her to disclose her identity. The public's interest is not furthered. All we need to know is that it happened. We don't need to know anything else. Hold on, you guys. I think we have a superstar in the chat. We have Attorney Blackburn. This better not be clickbait. We have Attorney Blackburn in the chat. We have Attorney Blackburn in the chat. Yo, we have the man Diddy tried to sanction, and it was not successful. Again, these sanctions are something they all turn out. Thank you so much. I think this is Attorney Attorney Blackburn said she lit his ASS up. Woo! Lit it up. Let's see. Exactly. Okay. Oh, that's good. Let's see if we can put his chat on the Summer Jam screen really quick before we get back into this legal case. And when I say this judge is about to light up, when I say light up, you have no idea what is going on. Let's get Attorney Blackburn. Let me see if I can highlight or pin his comment. Okay, I'm going to find it. Mods, can you guys help me find him and bring it to the forefront? Let's get into this really quick. Swagged Out said, love you, Tisa. Appreciate all your videos and live stream. Thank you so much, Swagged Out. I appreciate that. Love you, Abby. KG said, Tisa, we're staying at home for New Year's Eve. Please go live. The streets are wild, and I'm not built for that type of chaos anymore. You know what? I'm going to do my best to go live to y'all. Let me just start making excuses to my man. I'm sick. You're going to see me in there doing the Kendrick dance. Also, Infinite Wisdom, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Nikki said, please hit that like button. Thank you so much, Nikki. Also, Carol Marcel Brown. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Okay, y'all, if we can get, if Blackburn's even in here anymore. But let's get back into this, because this is the combo for the storm. When I say she humiliated them, Okay, right? Okay, where were we? Whether the public's interest in the litigation is furthered by requiring the plaintiff to disclose their identity. It is not at all. We don't need to know exactly who this person is. I mean, you know me, I'd like to know so I can do my internet sleuthing. But We don't we know enough about this. And again, Jay-Z will know who she is. He just can't leak it to the press. Whether because of the purely legal nature of the issues presented or otherwise, there is an atypically weak public interest in knowing the litigation's identities. Again, Busby can make a case for that, but Jay-Z and them could flip it. Whether there are any alternative mechanisms for protecting the confidentiality of the plaintiff, there is not. So when you look at the prongs out of 10, there are maybe 3 things that Jay-Z's people can argue. So already you're going in there weak, right? Now get this. She says, a court is not required to list each of the factors or use any particular formulation as long as it's clear that the court balanced the interests at stake for reaching the conclusion. Here, the weight of the factors tips in favor of allowing Jane Doe to remain anonymous. Hold on, y'all. Oh, listen. So Tyrone Blackburn has spoken. Let's put his comments on the thing because he actually has. So we're about to get into this. But Tyrone Blackburn, if you guys don't know, he is the lawyer representing Little Rod and a bunch of other people. Liza Gardner, I believe. Tyrone Blackburn is saying, let me put this on the Summer John screen if I can find it. He literally said, yes, it's me. Let's see, because there be bots in the chats. Hold on. Everybody show attorney Blackburn some love. He actually had a really good comment, and I want to put it on the screen. Screen. You up? Here we go. The first thing he said was, yes, it's me. I love that judge. She is one of my favorites in the Southern District of New York. She doesn't take mess from anyone. He goes on to say, make sure I don't miss a beat. Let's see. He goes on to say, she is a former state court judge from the Bronx. She is very tough. She took on the mayor. She is a plaintiff friendly judge. All right. They got the right one or the wrong one, depending on how you actually see it. All right. Okay. Let's keep going. I think Busby just responded as well. No, this is an old letter. Okay, I have the old letter. Okay, let's get into this. Okay. Woo! Thank you so much, Attorney Blackburn. Attorney Blackburn is in the chat. That's right. Attorney Blackburn, would you like to join the chat? Listen, I know probably not, but I'm going to drop the link anyway because you only miss the shots you don't take. And baby, you can call me Michael Jordan. All right. So here we go, right? Okay, so let's see what that is for. I'm going to drop the link right now in the chat for Attorney Blackburn and Attorney Blackburn only to come up. But let's get into this, right? If you so choose. Okay. Factors. Here, the weight of the factor tips in favor of allowing this woman to remain anonymous, at least for this stage of litigation. Factors 1, 2, 4, and 7 weigh strongly in favor of her remaining anonymous. In her amended complaint, she alleges that defendants drugged and raped her when she was only 13. All right. Courts in this district have recognized that allegations concerning sexual assault are highly sensitive and an extremely personal nature. Okay. Plaintiff is particularly vulnerable to the possible harms of disclosure. According to her amended complaint, she continues to experience depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and seizure disorder associated with the stress of her essay. Moreover, plaintiff's counsel asserts that many of his other clients who have filed similar lawsuits against Sean Combs claim to have been threatened by Sean Combs for their decision to speak out. And finally, although plaintiff sat for an interview with NBC News concerning the case, NBC allowed her to conduct the interview anonymously. Granted, several factors weigh against the plaintiff to proceed anonymously. Hold on, let's see really quick. Oh, hold on, you guys. really quick, we do have Attorney Blackburn on the line. Attorney Blackburn, thank you so much for joining. How are you? Wait, I think your mic's muted. Attorney Blackburn, if you could unmute your mic, we would appreciate it. Hold on, let's see. Let's see. Attorney Blackburn, your mic is muted, or is it me? Can y'all hear? You need to unmute your mic. Okay, you muted yourself. Okay, you know what? I'm going to keep reading until you actually want to jump in, unless you joined the chat. Unless you joined the chat by accident. So they say, but when you unmute yourself, feel free to jump in. They said, granted, several factors weigh against the plaintiff proceeding anonymously. Again, remember? Yeah, I can't hear him either. Okay, so that's not him that called. You guys are, see? That's why. Anyway, out here embarrassing me. Okay. All right, let's get going, right? No, listen, it's important to call a spade a spade. Even how she actually says, and there's nothing wrong with actually saying what the other side thing is. It doesn't mean you're not going to win the war. It says, granted, several factors weigh against allowing the plaintiff to proceed anonymously. Plaintiff is challenging the actions of private parties, not the government. And it's challenging the actions of the private parties, not the government. And given the media attention surrounding the case, the public has a substantial interest in this litigation, separate and apart from the general interest in the accused being able to publicly confront the accuser. Okay. Alternative mechanisms may exist to protect confidentiality, namely the redaction and the sealing of the documents. Most importantly, plaintiffs' continued being anonymous may cause prejudice to defendants, make it more difficult for them to collect the facts necessary to mount a defense and, as appropriate, challenge her credibility. And then they cited Diddy's case, saying identifying the most significant form of the prejudice of defendants as a discovery disadvantage and plaintiff anonymity would present. The court does not take such prejudice lightly. Okay. Hold on. Let's get back into this. Now, here comes the boom where she just rips them apart. Also, I want to give a big shout out to Statiophile said, I'm autistic and I could not tell you what year certain traumas occurred. However, I could describe the trauma in detail. Exactly. Everyone is different, but I believe autistic minds think alike, and I believe her. Again, you believe her, and the experts that actually went to school actually do this and believe, okay? Also, Linda Young, thank you so much for the super sticker. But also, like you said, you are autistic, right? And you can't, again, everybody experiences differently, but people that either have details with autism or they work with people or they know a loved one, they can kind of recognize that what the way she presented herself, what she said, and even her answer doesn't indicate that she is lying. Again, do we know she's telling the truth? That is for the jury to decide. But it doesn't necessarily indicate that she is lying. And it's weird the way everybody's like, I got you. When it's like, yeah, you know the way these shows are, not necessarily. It could just be that is the way she formulates, responds, and that's the way she sees things. Anyway, the case is moving forward. Let's get back into this, all right? Let's get back into this. So in any case, let's go to them actually ripping them apart. They said, nevertheless, at this exceedingly early stage in this case, the factors counseling against disclosure outweigh those that counsel in favor of disclosure. They quote case law, which was Delta Airlines, requiring the plaintiff to identify herself as the case approached trial. Accordingly, Jane Doe's motion to proceed anonymously is granted. Plaintiff is advised that because the balance of these factors will certainly shift as the case proceeds, especially if and when the parties engage in discovery in earnest, the court intends to revisit this decision at the future date. What does this mean? She's about to rip them apart. One, like we always said, the case will proceed. The fact that they said that this will go and proceed to discovery means that the summary motion to dismiss is also off the table, because if it was dismissed, they would never even get to discovery. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, right? They said, since Jay-Z's attorney first appeared in this case, this is the remaining motions. This is where she ripped them apart. Since Jay-Z's attorney first appeared in this case 17 days ago, he has submitted a litany of letters and motions attempting to impugn the character of Tony Buzbee. Many of them expounding on the purported urgency of this case. This is the judge saying this, describing plaintiff's counsel as self-promoting and accusing him of extortion. Also, requesting to be heard on an expedited basis and accusing Tony Buzbee of exploiting the legal process to generate media attention, asserting that Tony Buzbee's counsel, asserting that Tony Buzbee seeks only to benefit himself, and requesting that shortening of a deadline from 21 days to 1 day, describing Tony Buzbee as willing to blatantly violate the core ethical obligations of all attorneys and requesting a hearing on the motion the following day. Jay-Z's lawyers relentlessly filing of a combative motion containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate and a waste of judicial resources and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client. The court will not fast track the judicial process merely because counsel demands it. Y'all, y'all, this does not bode well. Now, if you are a longtime title talk and you listen to my lives and you listen to the way the baby, we're going to tell you both sides. We actually cited this over the last week about like, yo, the courts are not going to allow you to attack an officer ad hominem just because. I get what you're doing when you're trying to do a media thing, but you're doing that because you actually think that there's a chance this can go to trial. And I would believe, my opinion, that there's a chance that this can go to trial. And on top of that, you want to make sure you touch the jury as much as you can. Again, let's roll it back, because they're talking about each and every accusation that he has made to Tony Buzbee in the legal statements. And baby, this is fresh off the press, breaking news, fresh off of the judge's desk, baby. Oof. If I was Jay-Z, I'd be very, very worried. Again, is he guilty of this? That is for the jury to discuss. It is. And it's for the jury to decide. Will this case move forward? Absolutely. It is moving forward to discovery. As soon as you read that, you already knew what it was hidden for. Let's read this one more time. Jay-Z's lawyer relentlessly filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate. It's a waste of judicial resources and a tactic unlikely to benefit Jay-Z himself. The court will not fast track the judicial process merely because counsel demands it. Moreover, although Jay-Z's attorney assails Tony Buzbee as having a chronic inability to follow the rules, Jay-Z's own attorney has failed to abide by this court's clear rules. Under the court's individual practices in civil cases, and with the limited exceptions, right? Pre-motion letter is required prior to filing any motions. Oof. Although Jay-Z's attorney stated that he intended to file immediately a motion to strike the first amended complaint under Rule 12F, he did not give Tony Buzbee the requisite 5 business days to respond. He forgot that you have to wait for the court to set the motion schedule. or state whether any exception to the court's individual practices applies. This is unacceptable. This is the judge's own words. This is unacceptable. She literally said, you all saying, oh, Buzbee ain't following rules. You yourself are not following rules. Why? I believe this was filed just to start a social media campaign that actually worked. And I said it worked, right? I said, okay, you got caught slipping, Buzbee. Where are you at? Buzbee filed a letter. We read the letter. We said, okay, this is good. We waited to see what the judge will say. And now the judge is saying what we all along has said. Yes, you got that off in the court of public opinion. But in law, yeah, baby, this fails all the way. The judge says, this too is unacceptable. They said on the merits, Jay-Z's motion is to strike is denied. Motions to strike under Rule 12F are generally disfavored and will be granted. That's when you just do a summary dismissal and will be granted only, well, not summary, but a dismissal, and will be granted only if there is strong reason to do so. They said Jay-Z's motion would summarily asserts, this dyslexia is kicking my butt, asserts that the plaintiff's claims are baseless and salacious does not clear that very high bar. Again, saying something is salacious, saying something is this, that does not mean anything. Yes, all cases involving SA are grimy, they're salacious, that both people are playing crazy. That don't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China. They said, lastly, although Jay-Z's attorney is entitled to file a Rule 11 motion without first seeking leave of court, even though it is polite to ask the judge for permission to file Rule 11, which I believe is sanctions, the court discourages this approach. If he still intends to serve Jane Doe with a motion, and again, that would be Tony Buzbee. If you still intend to serve Tony Buzbee with a motion for sanctions, the court denies his request to shorten the safe harbor provision within Rule 11C from 21 days to 1 day. What does that mean, safe harbor? Listen, courts cost money. They cost taxpayer, plus it's a constitutional right that you will have a right to a speedy and fair trial. Because what they used to do back in jolly old England is like get you on charges and then hold you there for like years. And when you're like, yo, where's my trial date? Yeah, you'll get to that. So basically they found a way to imprison you without actually getting you tried in front of a jury. They would just throw you in jail and say the court's coming and you stay in jail until your court date. Spoiler alert, you would die before your court date came. So in America, we were like, yo, judicial prudence. It needs to be speedy because courts cost money. It needs to be efficient. But most importantly, it also needs to make sure that you don't just stay in jail or have this cloud over your head and the government can use it to blackmail you like the way they did in England. Right? This, that, and the third. Fine. We all on board with that? So, right? Safe harbor is this, especially with Rule 11 sanctions, because if you guys don't know, Rule 11 sanctions are some deep shit. Nobody wants that. It's not just embarrassing. It can lead to you being disbarred. It is going to be a mark on your file that every lawyer that does business with you will actually do, right? That every lawyer that does business with you, that goes against you, will pull up. Your Honor, they've been sanctioned. They've been sanctioned for lying and salacious. And when you have been sanctioned, it's almost like saying, Your Honor, he got caught smoking weed behind the bleachers. After that, whenever any teacher smells weed, they're going to haul you into the principal's office and be like, you was caught smoking weed, so we think that you are the person that actually did it, right? Now, safe harbor, because it's such a serious thing, could be even career ending, depending on how bad it is. It's such a serious thing that they allow you 21 days to change language, to amend your complaint. So maybe they're just like, yo, right? I'm going to ask the court, yo, I want to move for sanctions. The court will then say the opposing counsel has 21 days to change whatever it is in that document. Go and rethink it, right? Did I say something defamatory? Let me rewrite this. Did I do this? You get 21 days to change your complaint. And the complaint that you actually end up giving during safe harbor is a complaint that the judge will use to see whether you deserve sanctions or not. So basically, it's like a second chance. Like, go ahead and fix this shit, come back, and then let's continue, right? That is always 21 days. For whatever reason, Alex Spiro went into court and demanded that the safe harbor, which is a right for your counsel, safe harbor be completely ignored and be shortened from 21 days to 1 day. Again, if you watch any of the videos live, you know that we were like, huh? Right? They said Jay-Z's motion to strike the amended complaint under 12F is denied, okay? By the January 10th, 2025, by January 10th, 2025, Jane Doe shall file her response to Jay-Z's motion for an order directing the preservation of evidence. By January 17th, 2025, Jay-Z shall file his reply if he has any. Y'all. Oh my God. Oh my God. You guys, listen. This judge not only completely destroyed Jay-Z, she took Alex Spiro to task. She said, you are doing the very things you are accusing plaintiff counsels of doing. You came into this court. You didn't even follow correct procedure. You threw a barrage of lawsuits at the media. You then took for sanctions, which is like the boom, right? Kill shots for the head, huh? You better walk around like Daft Punk. Literally, you did this, and you demanded that basically their right, it's not constitutional, but it's one ingrained injustice, be shortened from 21 days to 1 day, all because you said so. The judge came in and said, no. First of all, stop. Second of all, what are you talking about? Third of all, this is my courtroom. I make the schedule. I do things. And guess what? That 1 day you wanted, that speedy reply you wanted, that all that stuff you wanted. Yeah. No, everything's denied. And what's more, she has until January 10th to file your response for the preservation of evidence. And she has till January 17th to file your reply if you even want to, Jay-Z. Good day. And with that, the end of the 2024 year closed with a bang. Ooh, 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 ooh. And with that, the closeout. Listen, at the end of the day, this does not bode well for Jay-Z. It lets you know that the mess that's going on with Alex Spiro is not going to pass. Also, this is a horrible day for Alex Spiro. They actually just did some mess with Eric Adams, where they Jay-Z's also having a horrible day. Inner City Press, shout out to Inner City Press. If you guys are on Blue Sky or Twitter, make sure you follow them and support them. Inner City Press was the one doing live tweeting from the Diddy courtroom. A lot of people, big networks and small, were relying on his live tweets to find out what was going on for Bird's Eye View. Oddly enough, after that happened, he did a book called Diddy Did It. It was just basically him recounting what he saw and heard in the courtroom. And do you know that Amazon shut down the Kindle one and he's currently fighting for the print copy? I think, my opinion, that Diddy's team literally got mad and they're trying to mess up his bag as much as they can. Just like when we do a live, right? They hit it with the Demomo. Well, I think they hit it with the Demomo as a way of trying to discourage people from actually going live and talking about it, because they think, oh, well, there's no money in it because we demonetize it. But the joke's on you, because I do this because I love it. I do it for my people. Anyway, also really quick, Hibiscus Rose, thank you so much for that membership. We also had the bad news that came out from the Eric Adams trial. Alex Spiro is having a horrible day in federal court. But again, Tattletales, you guys are not new to this. You're true to this. I've been singing for the last week. This ish that he's doing is going to play very well in public opinion. It's going to play horribly in court. Again, There were so many lines he was crossing going after an attorney as a reason why the plaintiff has to be lying. It was weird. Hibiscus Rose, thank you so much, Mom. I love your Abby for gifting that membership. Also, make sure you thank Hibiscus Rose, whoever got the membership, actually the whole chat. Pete said, I was waiting. I knew you were coming in blasting. Listen, baby, we call it like we see it. If Jay-Z is up one, we're going to say he up one. If Tony Buzbee is up one, we're going to say he's up one. Baby, Jay-Z got the best of Tony Buzbee Christmas Eve and the day before. They got the best last week. They literally caught him slipping. However, Buzzy, I'm going to read the letter. He filed a letter to court. Right? And the judge came out blasting, saying there will be order in my courtroom. There will be order, and called out Alex Spiro for everything that we've been saying. It had a tendency not to fly. Anyway, P, you knew I was waiting. John Edmond says, this is a lesson for folks that it can be 5, 10, 20 years. Think about how you treat people. People in the creative industry do heinous things and forget about it because it doesn't affect them. Exactly. Again, and when we say think about the way you treat people, everybody get caught slipping on a bad day, being nasty, being rude, like something that you're just like, okay, that wasn't my best time. But when we're talking about how you treat people, we are talking about treating people as they are somebody's child, as they are somebody's son, daughter, sister, brother, husband, wife, lover, whatever it is. Just treating them with human dignity, respect. That's all you got to do. I agree, John. Thank you so much for the super chat. YM Joy said, told y'all they interrupted the judge at death. YM Joy, you did say that. In the last live, YM Joy said, yo, the judge spitting about to light them up. They probably interrupted her little Christmas time eggnog, and she just annoyed. YM Joy said, I told y'all they interrupted the judge at dinner. She went, I'm having ice cream. I'll get to you when I get to you. Pass that pint, please. I know that's right. I know that's right. Thank you, YM Joy. You were the first one to call it when you're like, yo, the judge is going to be pissed because they interrupted her holiday. L Lyons the Great, thank you so much for becoming a member. And also 327 Delta, thank you so much for the super sticker. Okay, so let's read also, this also came down for Alex Spiro, about what they said about the Eric Adams case. Again, y'all, this is wild. Let me put this up on the Summer Jam screen. I'm going to airdrop this to myself. I'm going to airdrop this. Okay. And one more second, y'all, they got tore up. Inner City Press says, Eric Adams' lawyer, Alex Spiro, getting slammed by prosecutors in the U.S. v. Adams as by judge in the Doe v. Combs case. Here for comparing Eric Adams' acceptance of luxury travel to an iced tea fill-up. Oof. Let's keep going. And then we are going to read Tony Buzbee's letter that literally persuaded the court that they didn't have a leg to stand on. Oh, thank you, Lori. Lori, aka Lolo, said, please support Tisa and hit the like button. I love the Abby, Lori. I'm sorry, Lolo. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's get this up because you got to get into the details to actually see what is going on. And baby, these details are hot off the press. This does not bode well at all. This does not bode well at all in any way, shape, or form for Jay-Z's team. In any way, shape, or form. If they thought that they were really going to do the thing and not have to worry about anything, I don't understand what's going on. It was a weird move from the beginning. We're just airdropping this, y'all. Hold on. It was a weird move from the beginning. A lot of stuff couldn't be explained away. It was an aggressive move. I will say one thing. It would have changed the game. There we go. It would have changed the game completely. Are you sending this or what? Okay, I'm going to just have to read off the screen. Hold on. Let's read off the screen. Hold on. This is what they have to say. This is Alex Spiro again. United States v. Eric Adams. If you guys don't know, the prosecutors wrote a letter actually accusing Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's attorney, of doing the same thing Tony Buzbee was accusing Jay-Z and Rock Nation of doing. They said, "Dear Judge Ho," right? The government respectfully submits this reply in support of its motion under local criminal rule, blah, blah, blah. The government will not further address Eric Adams' reputation of already discredited narratives. And then they actually quoted Alex Go to NBC, NBC New York, right? Blah, 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 blah. They said, and then they quoted it and they said, defense counsel comparing Jay-Z's attorney comparing Eric Adams, the mayor of New York's accepting of luxury travel in exchange for official action to other officials as having their iced tea filled up. But it bears noting that even after Eric Adams' most recent filing, counsel has again violated the rule. On December 23rd, 2024, just hours after reaffirming the defendant's obligations under Rule 23.1, counsel issued another public statement in which he purported to describe, without the candor or completeness required in court, the government's own interviews of one of Eric Adams' co-conspirators. Hold on a second. One of the government's co-conspirators. The government's own interviews of one of Eric Adams' co-conspirators. This can only be an allusion, however inaccurate, to non-public information. With respect to Jay-Z attorney's claims that the U.S. attorney's description of allegations in the indictment compiled with Rule 23.1, that's when you can't like talk trash in the media because it can prejudice the case, right? They said they're rejecting the argument that press statements which tracked public allegations violated 23.1. And even if it had not, the defense's belief that the rule has been violated does not allow retaliation in kind. The court should therefore grant the government's motion and direct counsel for the parties to comply with Rule 23.1. The government will separately respond to the renewed motion claiming disclosure of the grand jury. Again, this is not good. Again, sorry guys, I misspoke. It wasn't the judge, it was the prosecutor slamming him. But the point of the matter is he got slammed by the prosecutors. There's no way the judge is not going to take this upon advisement because it is legal theory. Now let's look at the letter that brought down this little empire, or this little, what do you call it? Maybe not empire, but this little scheme set up by Todd. Let's look at the letter that Tony Buzbee actually quietly submitted in between all that media hoopla, all that fanfare, all that rah, 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 sis, boom, bah. Tony Buzbee quietly and respectfully submitted this to the court. Basically, you didn't interrupt the judge's Christmas dinner, right? She said she's on vacation. She ain't got time for this. Patricia, thank you so much for becoming a member. Wonder Woman, thank you for being a member for 9 months. I appreciate that. L Lyons the Great, thank you so much for the super sticker. And also Marie M, you said that sucks that YouTube demonetizes your lives. Thank you for your outstanding investigative journalism. Appreciate you so much. It's cool, but what you guys have to realize that like when lives get demonetized, because you know I keep my lives pretty PG, right? So it doesn't violate any of the community guidelines. But I believe what happens, much like TikTok, if you've ever been on there, is when, and this is just my theory, who knows while they're doing it, maybe the YouTube gods hate me, but I believe that when you are talking about people with PR agents, people with access to bots, people with access to, they can mobilize troll farms to dislike, to report for harassment or misinformation. They just hit the channel hard. The channel becomes demonetized, not the channel, but the video becomes demonetized because YouTube is like, listen, we don't know what's going on, but there's a lot of people complaining. So whatever, girl, you post, and you know me, they're like, you post 20 videos a day. Like, you don't need this, whatever. And they just do that. Right now, you can like appeal, but most of the time with that stuff, the appeal just like whatever. Again, it only seems to happen on the lives, and that's okay because baby, I do this because I love it. You guys send me super chats, but even if you didn't, I just do it because I love it, right? But again, sometimes you can fight it, but sometimes because it depends what reviewer you get. Sometimes they watch it and they're like, "Yeah, girl, they was tripping." Other times they're like, "No," and you're like, "Why?" And they're like, "Well, it just, yeah, not our speed." And then that's it. Okay. Usually, what they do to get it, you demonetized with this Diddy stuff and with the Jay-Z stuff is, which is why people are like, oh my God, just say smexual. Just say that. No, that's what they do to get you. When they can't find anything else, because I don't curse, I don't do this, I don't make outlandish claims, they can't say it's like defamation or anything like that. They'll say that they are talking about sensitive subject matters, especially when it's involving youngins. And YouTube goes crazy over that. So YouTube will be like, yeah, this isn't it's demonetized because it's considered 18 and over content. You see what I'm saying? They try to make it seem like I'm talking about some crazy, freaky stuff. And then that's the way they go and they snake you. So it's like, yeah, but this isn't suitable for this and that. And you're talking about very adult things. And you're like, okay, but it's not like 18 plus, like actual R rated, but they don't care. And that's the way that they can get you. So when people are like, oh, why are you saying sexual? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Because they have troll farms that literally try to hit you and people being like, oh my God, this was not family friendly. And then it's all over. Anyway, let's get into this, right? Let's see the letter that Tony Buzbee wrote quietly on the 10th that brought down Jay-Z's House of Cards. Dear Judge Torres, I write on behalf of my client Jane Doe, as well on behalf of myself and my firm in response to several recent improper communications directed to the court by counsel for defendant Sean Carter in the above captioned action. On December 8th, 2024, my client filed an amended complaint naming Sean Carter as an additional defendant in this matter. In conjunction with that filing, my firm filed a renewed motion for the plaintiff to proceed anonymously. Rather than merely oppose that motion, as would be expected and proper, Your Honor, defendant Sean Carter filed the very next day his own motion to deny anonymity and or to dismiss under Rule 12b-1. Your Honor, it appears defendant Carter made that separate filing, which we believe to be procedurally improper and substantially deficient, to serve as a pretext for defense to submit two letter briefs to the court on December 9th and 10th. These letter briefs are frankly nothing short of defamation, hiding behind the thinnest veneer of litigation privilege. Except for one sentence requesting an expedited hearing, the letter briefs have absolutely nothing to do with the only pending issue before the court, namely whether my client should be allowed to continue or to proceed anonymously. The letter's otherwise irrelevant contentions that the amended complaint allegations are inflammatory and frivolous, as against counsel's plea that Sean Carter is entirely innocent, are merely press releases dressed up as legal filings. Again, you see what Buzbee said to the judge quietly, because he said this, and again, we're going to get into this. This is going to be my last point. It mirrors what the prosecution is saying to the judge in Eric Adams' case, that he's doing the same thing. Counsel's December 10th letter goes much further and entirely too far, Your Honor, by accusing my firm and I of outright unethical behavior that never happened and which I would never countenance. To be clear, my firm and I categorically deny all the baseless allegations leveled by Mr. Carter and his counsel in these letters. We will respond in due course, in due time, Your Honor, through one second. I think I got some tea. Hold on. One second. Okay. Sorry, y'all. We will. It's holidays. Y'all know I don't put the phone down even for a DoorDash person. So it's holidays. So you know I'm gonna be texting my family. They tell me to hurry up and come eat. Anyway, right? We will we will respond in due course and due time through memoranda of law and other appropriate means to the legal issues at hand, as well as accusations, Your Honor, raised by Mr. Carter and his counsel. We will also address verifiable improprieties committed by defense counsel, outright illegal conduct for which we have actual evidence rather than vague hearsay declarations. For the moment, we simply want to timely inform the court that such responses will be forthcoming. Respectfully, Anthony G. Buzbee. Now, baby, that was a Texas drag. That was a Texas drag. Now, let me just say this. And this is what I mean about you got to look at things from both sides. Baby, Busby is up. And the judge's letter admonishing Jay-Z and his attorney have restored Busby's credibility. They have 100% restored Busby's credibility. Why is this? In this letter, in the 10th, it could have been posturing. A lot of people said it was posturing. We did a live over it. We said it wasn't posturing. We said he had a good case with that. The Busby letter outlined every single thing that the judge actually said, yeah, you guys lost your mind. What are you doing? What are you doing? It absolutely puts that. Now, here's the thing. If everything in Busby's letter that he said that Jay-Z's team did wrong, the judge came right now today, the day after Christmas, and co-signed on everything and said, yeah, no, we're not doing that today. And they have this time, the 10th and the 17th, to respond for stuff. I will be going live about those documents. So make sure you turn your notifications on, because as soon as them bad boys hit the docket, I'm going to go live and read them. Then what about the other stuff Busby said? Because this is what I do. When someone's been proven to make accusations or arguments that flesh out legally, I look at what else they're actually saying. Okay. What has he said? That we will address verifiable improprieties committed by Jay-Z, outright illegal conduct that we have actual evidence for, rather than vague hearsay declarations. We will respond in due course and due time through memoranda of law and other appropriate means to the legal issues as well. They are also saying, but for the moment, we simply want to timely inform the court. They also said that, so what does that mean? Busby saying he has proof. This isn't even about the Jane Doe anymore. Busby saying he has proof that Jay-Z and defense counsel ran a smear campaign, that he has proof that it was illegal. Now, in this letter that he wrote, almost everything he wrote, the judge co-signed on. The only thing the judge didn't co-sign on is whether that Tony Buzbee has proof. But Tony Buzbee says he is going to respond in due time. Again, was this an overreach by Jay-Z? They came up blazing, and it reminds me of, you got what you wanted, you got what you asked for, but not what you wanted. You wanted everybody to be like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. Look at this. And you got it. I said, y'all up. City Boys up. They did a fantastic blitzkrieg smear campaign in the media. However, you guys need to realize this is a legal war. Busby's going to win some battles. Spiro's going to win some battles. But baby, Busby up 5,000 today. He is up. And the judge has just restored all of his credibility and basically said that everything he was accusing the lawyers of, frivolous, this, that, boom, it's right there in front of you. It's right there in front of you. City Boys are way up on this one. Restless No More said, love you, Tisa. Thank you so much, Restless. I love your Abby. Thank you so much. Wonders Woman said, Tisa, please make me part of your Blue Mob Squad. Blue Mod? Oh, the Blue Mod Squad. Hold on, we got to run it by B and Rim. But yeah, we got to run it by B and Rim. They're in charge of all that. My moderator since day one. And of course, Mixed Chick, right? And Mixed Chick, welcome to the team, girl. Definitely. Lori, aka Lolo, thank you so much for becoming a member, Lolo. Mixchip said, Tisa, you take me out with that Texas accent. Oh, I'm from Texas too. Smash the like button, y'all. Thank you so much, Mixchip. And Larry said, Gene spoke about 7 different times when Jay-Z was meeting with younger girls in this live today. He also said if Jay-Z don't think he going to be linked to Diddy, he's out of his rabbit mind. Y'all listen, go on and support Uncle Gene Deal, right? Unc. He don't like to be uncle. He like to be Unc. Go and support Big Gene Deal. Again, he's been saying this stuff since the beginning. Go onto his live and see what he's talking about, Gene Deal and whatnot. And also, really quick, you guys, this is so important. Listen, I got to tell y'all something. This is important. I hold on, y'all. Hold on. Sorry, you guys, I did a thing. I got featured in the Hollywood Reporter for my investigative journalism. And there's an article about how YouTube is the future of TV and the more infotainment and amateur pundits are filling the gap that legacy media refuses to film. You guys, if you guys could go, the link is in the description box. Please click on that link. I would be very much appreciated. It is the first time ever I've ever been written up for anything, but it is the culmination about 3.5, 4 years of going on 4 years in April of the hard work I put in, but not even that, of all the support and love that you guys actually showed me. When I hit 500K, I'm going to have a celebration of all celebration. It is going to be such a good time. I have so many cool things actually planned. And in the new year, if you guys do subscribe or even turn your notifications on or even just keep returning to the channel, I promise you guys, it's going to be season 2 of Tisa Tells. I'm going to up the ante. You're going to see a lot of new things, and I think you guys are really, really, really going to like them, okay? So just thank you for giving me time to cook and marinate. Thank you for bullying me into getting a new microphone and to stop filming things through a potato. But I have some really good things coming up in the new year. So I just want to thank you guys so much. Sarah, thank you so much for becoming a member. And Nina812, thank you so much for the super chat, said, I had an onset of PTSD. Next year will be 5 years. It woke up my childhood suppressed abuse, mental, physical, and SMEX. Yes. Till you've lived it, have grace for another. I completely agree with that, Nina. And thank good the courts have evolved enough that even though people on social media might not have grace, the experts and the courts are now demanding that it is actual like litigation law, that there must be grace for that. And Nina, congratulations to you to actually not just enduring, but surviving and thriving through that. It's very hard things. And like you said, until you lived it, nobody ever actually knows. So congratulations to you. You guys, make sure you show Nina some love. Also, Harley62 said, oh, I missed this live, but glad I caught a few minutes with Tisa. What's up, Harley? How are you? What's up, Harley? And thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Listen, oh, thank you, B, for dropping that to call her syndicated. Officially one of the most fire content creators. This dyslexia kicks my butt on YouTube, featured in the Hollywood Reporter. That's right. Anyway, listen, you guys, I'll try to go back on live definitely later on tonight. But baby, City Boys down, buzz it. Them Texas boys is up. And you know what the funny thing is? Them Texas boys is up. That was Tony Buzbee showed up at Beyonce's halftime show and was sitting in one of the best boxes watching her make money that he thinks is going to go in his pocket. Listen, them Texas boys is up. And it leads me to believe that the judge has restored Tony Buzbee's credibility because, again, Alex Spiro came with a slew of stuff. It got the internet on fire. It worked for public relations and for media. Tony Buzbee came, submitted that letter quietly on December 10th, destroyed everything. And everything he said in that thing, the judge agreed with. The only thing the judge didn't agree with was that last paragraph. But that's when Tony said, I will give you the proof in due time. But for now, I respectfully submit this to the court. Yo, them Texas boys is up. Yo, those Texas boys are up. All right. Listen, Listen, thank y'all so much. Anyway, you guys, listen, let me get out of here. I'll try to go on live later. I am going to upload a few more videos, so make sure you turn the notifications on. Happy holidays, everyone. And as soon as we get to 500K, baby, we having a celebration upon celebrations. I don't know when we get in there, but baby, we going to have it. Also, I'm going to sit there. I'm going to talk and see if we can do a New Year's celebration. That would be fun. I think that would be a great thank you to the Tattletales that aren't going anywhere, or you're just celebrating with friends and family. I might do something fun then. All right, y'all. But I'll keep y'all posted on that. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much. And I will talk to y'all